is Chip Kelly on the hot seat right now here in Los Angeles?
It definitely warmed up with them losing on Saturday night at home against a really terrible Arizona State team. And the interesting part of this is for most of Chip's run there, they really struggled on defense. Well, he made a really good hire this offseason, Danton Lynn, whose dad is a former NFL head coach. Everybody knows, was a guy who grew up in football. They've been really good on defense. They have some really good players. Offensively, they have really struggled over the second half of the season, especially. They're down to like their third string quarterback. That hasn't helped. Their offensive line isn't particularly good. They feel like they're just kind of fizzling on offense. They're 6-4, and they have a reeling USC team. And it just, right now, they really need a win. I don't know. There's a lot of chatter about frustration with fans. I think there's a lot of frustration with fans at UCLA for a couple of reasons. One, he got off to a super slow start the first 3 years, and then it turned around in the last 3 years. He's got it going, pretty good. But then they want to, he doesn't recruit the way a lot of other people want to see him recruit in terms of like doing what Oregon has, does, or doing even what USC does, where you're competing for 5-star guys. They have Dante Moore, who was the 5-star big get, a quarterback, but almost across the board, the best recruiting he's done has been in the transfer portal. And so there's that. And also you already have an apathetic fan base that no matter who's the coach there, I think they're not coming out. This is not like USC football. They don't approach it that way. So, if he loses and goes to 6-5, it would definitely be a disappointing year given that they are backsliding into the season. But again, I think it's hard to say how they're going to operate. I don't think he has a huge buyout there. So
is he coaching for his job against USC, do you think?
I don't know if I would say it as bluntly as that.
Okay.
But he definitely could use a win to quiet all the chatter around there. Because again, I think it was a really bad loss they just had, that people looked at Arizona State as the worst team in the conference, and how do you lose them at home and only score 7 points? It's odd because Chip Kelly's one of the brightest offensive minds in all of football. And we've seen that a lot at times, through there. But what's definitely noteworthy is DTR was a wild roller coaster ride, and he played there for a long time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of spectacular, and there was a lot of like shaky play, but they've definitely missed him because they just haven't had as much of a spark. The run game's been at times good, at times not so good. The passing game hasn't been what I thought it was going to be. But again, I think, I could see them looking and saying, who are we going to get if he doesn't? Do they try to poach Jonathan Smith, who's done a really good job at Oregon State, who's basically from Pasadena? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that would be an answer. Do they bring Jed Fish back? Yeah. Jed Fish was a UCLA offensive coordinator, and he has done a terrific job at Arizona.
Yeah.
And I know some people there are very fond of Jed. I don't know if Jed would leave, but it's now a Big Ten school as opposed to
a plum gig just for that alone. One would think, even though the Pac-12 is definitely a tougher conference as currently constituted than the Big Ten.
Is, yeah.
There's no question about that.
So it's an interesting dynamic that has come to light in the last week. Yeah.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.